How's it going, guys? Coffee here. Today I wanted to go over the latest test that I have done. I wanted to do a test through every single zone on tier 7 to get a breakdown on the total number of monsters in every single map in every region, the total percentage of the mobs that you actually end up killing if you are to just do a straight beeline to the boss or a very rough beeline directly to the boss, and some notes in regards to what the layout for the map is currently like, and if there's anything specific in regards to the map region, then I went ahead and notated that as well. So first things first, a little disclaimer on the way that I did this testing. I did use my Thundercloud Gemma build because this is the fastest mapping build that I have. So as you know, the build itself has a decent clear, but there are builds that have either more AoE or things that can do maps that are a little bit wider in range. For the Thundercloud build, it really prefers narrow pathways with kind of packs of mobs that are spread out sporadically, so you can really take advantage of them with frigid transmission, with the constant resets and kind of blinking yourself forward repeatedly. So keep in mind, depending on what build you are playing, there are going to be maps that are either better or worse for you. In my case, the maps that I prefer are going to be, again, the ones that are going to be very linear and do not have any backtracking or side paths, as I can clear the maps much more quickly if I don't have to backtrack at all. So all in all, the number one map that I feel is best suited for this build and best suited for the playstyle that I like to play is going to be Demiman Village. This map has a very high number of monsters relative to the other things in the region. As you can see here, the average kills that you're getting per map on this is 372. For this, the map is extremely linear, so it's almost impossible to miss any of the mobs while you're running straight to the boss. The packs are spread out very well, and because you're killing 99% of the mobs, this is a very well-suited map for mechanics such as Dark Surge and God of War, things like that. Dark Surge most important right now because that is the mechanic that I feel is the most profitable farming mechanic in the game right now, is just chasing Dark Surge and Benevolent cards most importantly. So as you can see here, the Demiman Village is 99%. Abandoned Mines comes in at 88% with the average kills just over 300. That's also a very linear map that once you learn it, it's very easy to consistently get 95% of the mobs once you kind of learn the pathing for it. And the map that I recommend as third for the region is Ramparts of Belief. So for the lava region, if this is the region you want to run, or the region you are running, the map that I found to be best is Blustery Canyon. It does have you do end up killing less percentage of the mobs than you do in Dragon Rest Canyon, but if you look at the total number of mobs that you are actually killing, you are actually getting a lot more kills because it's a pretty high density map. Dragon Rest Canyon comes out just behind it, and then Shadow Outpost is very straight as well. All in all, not too bad. There's only a few maps in here that come down to where you are killing under 50% of the mobs, so the average kill percentage you're getting is still pretty high. I personally don't like this region though, because the boss itself can be kind of annoying if you're having to kill it multiple times, because it does have mandatory invulnerable phases that you can't bypass no matter how much damage you get. So keep that in mind if this is an area that you do choose to farm. If you end up in the Steel Forge area, the top three maps that I am going to recommend are going to be Cloud Walls, Wall of Sorrows, and Walls of the Pier. Cloud Walls I recommend over just the other two just because it has a little bit more monsters in it. The map is a little bit longer, but for things like frigid transmission, you don't notice any difference with it, and you are able to just kind of bounce from pack to pack very quickly. Same thing goes for Walls of the Sorrow and Walls of the Pier. They're both, again, very linear maps. They're going to be very thin. There are a couple maps in this region that if you get things on, they're very non-linear maps, so you'll see that the total kill count that you're getting on these is going to be pretty low. The boss for Steelforge isn't too bad. He doesn't have any mandatory invulnerability phases, so if you have really high damage, you could just walk in and one-shot him. He's probably the easiest boss to do that with, because he doesn't go invulnerable nearly as often as some of the other bosses. Next up, we have Thunder Wastes, which is also another personal favorite of mine. It's a very nice region to farm. A lot of the maps on this are very nice layouts, and they're pretty comfortable, and the boss itself is also very easy to kill. For the regions we have here, the map that I recommend as the highest quality map to run in the region is going to be Grove of Calamity. This map is extremely linear and extremely short, so if you are early in your progression and you are just trying to unlock cards, this is going to be one of those maps that is worth just speed farming if you don't want to run anything in the Glacier area, or if you're out of beacons for the Glacier area. Then I recommend just spamming Groves of Calamity, because this is a map that you are going to be getting. You're going to be killing everything on the way, while still getting quick cycles on bosses, just for earning your early cards. Rain Mist Jungle is another nice linear map as well. Again, it works very well with Frigid Transmission. And Weeping Mines is the same, though this one requires you to learn the layout a little bit more, versus just being incapable of getting lost or having any paths that end up taking you a little bit of extra time. The last region is Voidlands. This is a region that I highly recommend against anyone doing outside of the required amount for the quest. This has some of the worst layouts in all of the zones that are available, and it was hard to even find 3 redeeming maps for this region. Dreamless Thicket is the only map that I don't absolutely hate running in this area. As you see here, Gallery of the Stars, this is the worst map in the game that I could possibly find for just rushing the boss. This map, if you are going directly to the boss, you're only killing 12% of the mobs that are there. And it basically just has, again, 90% of the zone itself is completely out of the way of the boss. That's going to require huge backtracking to end up going to kill and find the boss itself. A lot of the maps in this region are similar like that, where they either have dual paths, or they are going to be very wide, or they're going to have lots of windy indoor paths, and that just leads to inefficient farming versus some of the other regions. So once you've finished your quest on this zone, I suggest you ignore this zone as much as possible. If you are trying to maximize the amount of maps that you're doing per hour, my recommendation is going to be in the Glacier region. This area has the best overall layouts out of everything. If you look at the total average percent kills that you're going to be getting, if you take the average between every map, Glacier comes out at the highest at 77%, with the Lava Sea coming in at 68%, Steelforge coming in at 69%, and Thunder Waste coming in at 59%. The biggest reason why I think Glacier is still just going to be the best overall map is the worst layout on Glacier is better than most of the layouts in most of the other regions. And for those, I recommend only really running the worst maps if they specifically have either a Dark Surge or a Benevolent card on them. If I am not specifically chasing a Dark Surge or Benevolent card, then I'm pretty much just going to be spamming my runs on Demiman Village, Abandoned Mines, or Court of Darkness, depending on what minor bonuses they have on them. When in doubt, I'm just cycling on Demiman Village to get the next set of cards and just try to force Dark Surge or Benevolent once again. For the card set that I am running for my main farming at this time is going to be specifically built around forcing Dark Surge, Benevolent, and trying to ride this out with Honest. So if we do not have a Dark Surge card already on our map, then we are going to use Transformation Dark Surge if it's up to forcefully spawn a Dark Surge card. Once you actually start to run out of your 5 runs, this is where you use any Honest cards if they are on the map. When you get to 3 remaining maps, you also always, of course, want to be taking advantage of Benevolent. And if neither of these are up, then depending on what you're trying to do, just prioritize the Solemnity, Admiring, Expectant, the Goddess of Hunting, things like that. Whatever is just going to be on the convenient good maps for the zone, because you want to take whatever little advantage you can get on those maps, and then quickly cycle to just the better cards. Sometimes you just get bad cards, and for those, again, you just want to cycle on a good map until you get a refresh, and then you just cycle and continue the process yet again. If you have any questions about anything that I covered today, feel free to leave a comment down below, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. And if you want to find more content like this, feel free to subscribe, and I will have some future updates on the specific card deck that I'm running. I'm going to be doing some specific tests in the Glacier region, either 100 map tests to really look at the amount of FEs that we're getting, and 100 map test on this. Throughout my testing of all the regions, I was averaging about 10 FE raw per 33 maps. So I was doing 3 runs per region, with each region having 11 maps in them, or 12 maps in them rather. So every 33 to 36 maps, I was averaging about 10 FE. This was 10 FE pure. I was not doing any of the league mechanic itself, and I was specifically not taking or doing any Dark Surge mechanics as well, because of the fact that I didn't want to accidentally affect the numbers of the maps, because some Dark Surge mechanics have the ability to spawn extra mobs, so I didn't want to corrupt any of the data. So I will be going over and posting some extra data afterwards in another video covering my luck with forcing Dark Surge and Benevolent. So again, if you have any questions, comment them down below. And other than that, see you in the next one.